Hi, I'm Dr. Boyce Watkins, and welcome to this week's version of Black, White, and Politically Incorrect. I'm here with Susan Patton, aka the Princeton Mom. How you doing today, Susan?
I'm terrific. You boys?
I'm doing really well, and I assume that you're pumped up about the 2016 election because you get a chance to possibly see the White House occupied by someone other than the Democrat that occupies it right now. Am I correct?
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Well, firstly, it's sort of amazing to think that we're 18 months out, more than 18 months out, and already it's
Hmm.
starting already in earnest. It's everywhere. It's constant. Hours every day on the news is being devoted to this race that is a year and a half away. Oh my God. Yeah, I don't know how any of us are going to survive this. But yeah, I am very eager to see a change in the White House. I don't think that the last 6.5 years have been good for the country. I think that a Republican administration could certainly put the economy back on track better and faster. Yeah, these have not been a good 6.5 years for anybody. For anybody, the Black community hasn't benefited the last 6.5 years. These have been terrible 6.5 years for everybody, and I understand that in some, to some degree, it's a question of riding a wave. That all things go in cycles, and some presidents are lucky; they get in there and they just, they're riding a lucky wave. And I think that Barack Obama actually did not. I think he got in sort of just at the wrong time. And I think he's a good man. I'm sure that he's been as earnestly invested in making things better as he possibly could be, but I just don't think he was up to the job.
So
I
why do you,
just don't.
why do you think that the last 6.5 years have been terrible?
Well, the economy has been terrible. People, and I'm an HR babe. People I know who lost their jobs back in '08 and '09, they still haven't found work, some of them. The economy is just not recovering the way that it needs to. I understand that the unemployment numbers are down, but that's only because how many people have just figured out that's it. I'm not finding work anymore. There will be no more work for me. So they've taken themselves out of the job market. They're out of the unemployment statistics because they've already gone through unemployment. So I think that unemployment stats that the president quoted the other day are, I think that they're falsely deflated. I think there are a ton of people out there who are unemployed or underemployed. When the economy comes back, then I think we'll see unemployment numbers really improve. But I think the economy is just terrible. And look, God bless Barack Obama and his wife, who I wish she loved Princeton more than she does, but she doesn't, and his daughters, who, by the way, were on campus recently visiting Princeton's campus. The older one is that Sasha or Malia. Malia is the older one, right?
I think Malia is the older one. Yes.
Yeah, she was on campus looking at Princeton as a possible place that she will go to college. Um, but yeah, he was simply not up to the task. He didn't have the qualifications. He doesn't have the skills to be the leader of the free world. Again, I don't dislike him personally, but you know, he couldn't. He didn't get it done. He did not put the ball in the cup, boys.
Okay.
Did not put the ball in the cup.
Okay. I want to ask you a couple questions, and I want you to answer them in 3 words or less. Okay.
Yeah,
How do you feel about Ronald Reagan?
love Ronald Reagan. Go
Oh,
ahead.
okay. Next question. Um, do you respect the credibility of Forbes magazine?
Sometimes I do.
Okay. Well, those are fair enough. Well, I'm going to say that there was an article in the fall of 2014 on Forbes magazine. The title of the article is Obama Outperforms Reagan on Jobs, Growth, and Investing. Now,
Well,
would
this is one of the times that I don't buy.
well, the reason I say all this is because, finance and economics, that is my thing, and I can say that I think that for the economy at large, I think Obama did as good of a job as anybody could have done when it comes to getting through this horrible recession. It could have been a lot worse than what it was. And now, mind you. Within the black community, people know me or they think that I'm an Obama critic. And what bothers me is that you were, at least when Obama was first elected, you were defined as an Obama critic if you did not worship Obama, if you didn't think that he was like the Messiah messiah or something, and that bothered me. I don't believe in hero worship. I don't trust politicians. I don't like any of the clowns on Capitol Hill. I think they've all been bought out by corporations. And that's why the American people are getting screwed, no matter who's in office. But with that being said, excluding the fact that I don't think Obama did enough on black unemployment. He pretty much let that fester and die and whittle away. Overall, you saw some vast improvements in terms of employment opportunity, and the stock market's doing really really well. I invest in stocks, and I saw the stock market just doing this the whole time. So can't we give him credit for anything? I mean, what can you, when you look at the just everything about him as a president?
Right.
I think maybe, is there a way we can get away from either the worship or the complete vilification and just meet in the middle and say, okay, he did these things good and these things bad. Is that possible?
I think that's absolutely. You've never heard me vilify Obama or anybody else for
You
that matter.
you just did. You just
Yes.
did. You
Excuse me, boys. There's a difference between saying I don't think the man was up for the job, because that's what I said and that's what I mean. I didn't say he's stupid, he's evil. No, that's vilification. I would never say that because I don't think that's true. I just think he was not up for the job. There are
he's
things.
just woefully unqualified. So do you think that
Thank you.
if
Yes.
in your opinion, right? So if Mitt Romney had been elected, how would
Yeah.
the world be different today if Romney had been elected? Back in 2012.
I sort of think that we'd be in a better financial place now because Romney has a whole lot more financial savvy, having been a serious businessman over seriously successful businesses throughout his life. I like Romney. I just like him. I've always liked him. I like that he's a devoted family man. I think that his love of the country is so sincere, which is not to say that Barack Obama doesn't love the country, but every now and again he says sort of some crappy kind of thing. The wife will say some crappy kind of thing that I just don't much care for, that I think should never, ever be uttered by the first family.
Okay.
So where would the country be different? I don't know. It's hard. It's hard to say. I mean, obviously, it's hard to say, but I think that we probably would have been better off. We probably would have had more pride as a nation under Romney. But all right. Here's what I'll give. Here's what I'll give the Obama's credit for. I love Bo and Sonny.
You love Bo and Sonny. Now wait, now are those the dogs? I know Bo's a
Uh,
dog. They have two dogs?
they have two dogs. They're both.
I didn't know they had two dogs. I did not
Okay,
know they had two dogs.
all right.
Okay, so you love Bo and
Uh,
Sonny, and you also love Princeton, where Michelle went to school, because
hold on.
you're a Princeton alum. One of the great Princeton alums that I know. I can say that, you and
Thank
Cornell West.
thank
Um,
you,
and,
Brother
and,
West.
and yeah, and both of you stand for your principles, which sometimes
We
leads
do.
to controversy, which you guys
Yes.
withstand better than anybody. Now, what I'm going to read to you here is a comment by Bob Dietrich at Forbes magazine, where he compares Reagan's economic performance to Obama's, and I want you to just, I know it might be a shock to your system now, but maybe you could take it home with you and just kind of marinate on it and maybe reconsider some things. Here's what he said: President Reagan has long been considered the best modern economic president. So we compared his performance dealing with the oil-induced recession of the 80s with that of President Obama and his performance during the Great Recession. As this unemployment chart shows, President Obama's job creation kept unemployment from peaking at as high of a level as President Reagan and promoted people into the workforce faster than Reagan. President Obama has achieved a 6.1% unemployment rate in his sixth year, fully 1 year faster than Reagan did. At this point in his presidency, President Reagan was still struggling with a 7.1% unemployment rate, and he did not reach into the mid-low 6% range for another full year. So, despite today's number, the Obama administration has still done considerably better at job creating and reducing unemployment than did the Reagan administration. And they also said, we forecast that the unemployment rate will fall to around 5.4% by summer 2015, a rate President Reagan was unable to achieve during his two terms. Now,
May I interrupt you for just a moment?
please do.
I stayed with you as long as I could, but I started to lose consciousness from boredom. No one cares about that. Come on, forget about it. I mean, long, boring quotes. Forbes is long and boring. No one cares about that. Reagan was president, what, 100 years ago? I mean, I was a little girl when Reagan was president. Forget, these are ridiculous.
So now Reagan's irrelevant. He went from being one of the great presidents of all time to being irrelevant to the conversation now. Is that what it is?
I don't think Reagan is irrelevant. I think talking about Reagan now is irrelevant. Here's what I'd like to talk about. What do we think about Chris Christie? Do we like Chris Christie? I love the big guy in New Jersey. Do you
Is
love the big guy in New Jersey?
is that your top pick for the White
No, I think
House?
Jeb Bush is. I think I love Jeb Bush. I think Jeb Bush is probably going to be the guy that carries the nomination. But I love Chris Christie. I love his honesty. I love his brashness. He's the kind of guy, the kind of guy. Firstly, I love a big man. I love a big man. I need a big guy. I love that he tells you what he thinks. I've been with him at the Yale game at Princeton. He has a son who's on campus now, who I guess is maybe a junior. I think that he's terrific. Is he going to be a little too much of a loudmouth, a little too much of a bully to actually, bring it across the goal line? I don't know. But I like him very much, but I think next year goes to Jeb Bush. Do you think that Hillary is going to be the party's candidate?
I think so. I think she is. I think she's always felt that this was her time. I think she felt 8 years ago was her time, or 7 years, whenever Obama.
She's always felt it was her time. She's always felt it's her time.
Yeah, yeah, but still, I mean, the question is, is it? Here's the thing about Hillary that I love and hate. She has such a storied legacy in Washington. She's been around so long. She's such a power player that she's deeply entrenched, right? Which on one hand means that you're kind of beholden to the pre-existing power structure. You're not. I don't see her necessarily being a vehicle for real change unless she chooses to be. But on the flip side of that, if she chooses to be a vessel for change, few people are more capable of doing that than her, because she's got that balance between, she's got enough pragmatic skill to be able to reasonably reach out to idealistic objectives and actually accomplish them. Because I think that if you put in Obama in office, you're looking at a person who's young and smart but inexperienced. And so he's gonna, if he was at risk kind of becoming what Jimmy Carter was. Jimmy Carter was the same way. Jimmy Carter had a lot of good ideas, that regular people could relate to. But Washington is such a screwed up place that you almost have to be an insider to get anything done. And if you're a corrupt insider, it's over. But if you're an insider that actually wants something better, who's better to do that than somebody like a Hillary Clinton? That's my thinking.
I think Hillary Clinton has too many people who dislike her. She has such a long, sort of checkered past. It's all going to come up again. Sick of all. I never really thought of myself as a person who holds grudges personally, but I guess politically I do. In the same way I've told you that I don't forgive Michelle Obama for having said on the occasion of the Iowa primary, "This is the first time I'm proud to be an American." That done. Don't say another word unless you apologize for that. I can't even listen to any more of your rhetoric. Likewise, Hillary Clinton back in 1992, which was how many years ago? That's what,
23 years.
23 years ago, right? When she said on 60 Minutes to Steve Croft, "Well, if you expect me to be some, stand by your man, Tammy Wynette, stay at home, bake cookies, what? You're going to rag on women who are stay-at-home women who bake cookies? Are you kidding? You're going to talk about them in a disparaging way?" And I think that's who she is.
But was she ragging on them, or was she just saying, "I'm not one of them"? Right? I
The way
think
she
those are two
said
different
it,
things, right?
the way she said it made it very clear. I'm not one of those stay-at-home bake cookies, stand behind your man. Ooh, what a yucky, stupid thing to say. Every woman I know who was a stay-at-home, bake cookies kind of gal was offended by that. And the idea of, if I'm not going to be some stand behind my man like Tammy Wynette. Yes, stand behind your man. You're not elected anything. That's all your job is to stand behind your man. So I didn't like anything she said in that interview with Steve Croft. I mean, to me, what she demonstrated there is exactly who she has shown herself to be for the 25 years that we've known her. She is an opportunistic, sort of nasty, snarky, phony baloney. I hated that she was, Hillary Clinton until her husband was elected, and then she became Hillary Rodham. I hated that. That was, again, let me give the illusion that I'm part of a solid union by taking my husband's name and, embracing it. And the instant, the day he was elected, she became Hillary Rodham, as if she thought that if she was Hillary Rodham before that, she would off-put a population who would feel like, oh, she's too much of an independent woman. I don't like this. I don't like Hillary Clinton. I have never liked her. I don't like anything about her. Not one bit. Nothing. There's nothing I could say positive about Hillary Clinton. I don't care for her, not one bit. And I find it hard to believe that she's going to be the nominee. I think too many people dislike her for too many reasons. You're
Well,
going to vote for her? Are you going to vote for her?
no. I'm gonna vote. I'm gonna vote independent. I'm gonna find the candidate that I like the most and vote for that person. It'll probably not be a Democrat or a Republican, because when I look at the Democrats and Republicans who run Washington, I see people who completely screw up the country. I see people who don't care about the black community. I see people who are just making decisions that tend to favor these wealthy Ivy League types. I know you went to an Ivy League, no disrespect, but my goddaughter, I love her. She went to Columbia, and so I know the value of an Ivy League education, but I don't like the idea of collapsing and controlling all power within a few select individuals from a few select universities. I'm tired. I don't want to see another Harvard, Yale graduate in the White House. I want to see somebody from the University of Oregon or Howard University. I mean, show me somebody who went to another school outside of the Ivy League. Put some of these people on the Supreme Court. Let some of these people do some things in the Senate, and you'll probably end up with a better country because
So you're actually, did you just actually, I just want to make sure my ears heard me correctly. You are actually, Boyce, you are actually advocating for discriminating against, actively discriminate against those Princeton, Harvard, Yale people. Is that actually what you just said?
No, that's not what I said. You know that. You know I didn't say that. You know I didn't say that.
You
I didn't say discriminate against them. I said stop favoring them. Stop giving favor to the elite, because a lot of these folks, I mean, they fight each other back and forth, but really they're preserving power for themselves. That's what they're doing.
in its purest sense, what does the word elite mean? Do you know what it means?
You know what? Instead
It
of
means the best.
in this,
The best.
no. It means elite in a rare space that that sometimes is granted to you by virtue of privilege.
No,
If you're
no.
talking about Harvard Yale graduates, some of them are pretty smart, but a lot of them are very wealthy, and some of them are both. And the thing is, Harvard does a very good job. Harvard, for example, does a very good job of really protecting its power. They put a lot of money into things that are going to lead to Harvard graduates getting access to the Supreme Court, the White House, things like that. And it bothers me because the thing is, here's the interesting thing, Susan. Our commitment to capitalism as a country has been our greatest strength and our greatest curse. It's our greatest strength because we are the most economically prosperous nation in the world, maybe the history of the world, or something like that. But it's been our greatest curse because the fact that we worship money has caused us to really undermine all the other values that make us human, that make us better people, make us a good society. We shouldn't live in a country where people can die because they can't afford medication. We shouldn't live in a country where fast food companies can market sugary, high fat food to children and not be held accountable for that. We shouldn't live in a country where our politicians are so bought out that they're listening to corporate America before they listen to the American people. That's what's going to be our undoing. Our capitalism is going to be the thing that makes us strong. It's almost like an athlete taking steroids. It's going to be the thing that helps him win on the field, but it's going to be the thing that kills him too. And that's where America's headed. That's what we're doing. We are on financial steroids, and somebody has to stop it, or our country's going to crumble. I don't care if you have a Democrat or a Republican in office. What say you?
Well, I believe that you're right, that money is the root of all evil, of strife and upheaval. I think, there's an awful lot of truth in what you're saying. I'm not that kind of person. I've never been. I know what money is and I know what money isn't. I raised my children to know that all that money does is give you options. It doesn't love you. It doesn't save you. It doesn't protect you. All it does is give you some options. So we're not in disagreement there. But again, I want to go back to what you said about elite. And I think elite is not necessarily, it's not always a game that's skewed to disfavor the underprivileged. I don't think that. I think elite means the best. When we look for what do we want in a president, I totally want the best. When I look to hire people, I've been crazy busy working this week. I look for the best. I'm looking for the best. I don't care where they come from, but the idea of not looking at someone who comes out of the elite universities, well, The elite universities actually are a pretty good place to find the best. Now, you said it that they're all smart and some of them are rich. That's exactly right. Some of them are not rich at all. Some of them are poor. Me, I was the poorest kid at Princeton when I was there. Total financial aid, complete financial aid. Um, but I think it's pretty consistent that you're not at any of these elite universities unless you are seriously not just smart, but directed and accomplished and disciplined and focused. When you look at the number of applicants to these universities, Princeton this year, I think, had 29,000 applicants for, I think, 900 or 1,100 places. I mean, they took 6% of the applicants. I think that when you have a pool of applicants to look at of close to 30,000, yeah, I'm pretty confident. I'm going to stand behind the statement that every single person that Princeton admitted is brilliant. They may not all be brilliant in the same way. They may not. Some may have, skills and capabilities and talents that you wouldn't know to meet. I'll give you the example. When I was on campus back during the Civil War, there were times that I thought, every now and again, I would meet somebody and I would think, holy mackerel, how did this kid ever get to Princeton? They struck me as just complete idiots. There's one person in particular I'm thinking about. I don't remember his name. I haven't remembered his name in 35 years. Long, scraggly hair, but then again, it was the 70s. Everybody had long, scraggly hair. Torn jeans, not well shaven, sort of bad skin, dirty fingernails, a skinny kid, whatever. We were at in one of the residential colleges together for some reason. I don't know, for whatever it was. And there was a big piano there. And this kid sat down at the piano, just, as a place to sit, sat at the piano bench. And while we're talking, while a bunch of us are talking, he starts playing the piano. And he's playing Scott Joplin, The Entertainer. And then he's playing some other ragtime stuff. And then he's just composing stuff as he's going while he's talking. And I thought to myself, okay, now I understand. Now I understand. We're not all gifted or smart in the same way. But what and this happened it happened many, many, many times during my undergraduate years when I looked at somebody and I thought, holy mackerel, how did this kid ever get to Princeton? Whew. If I got to know them a little bit, certainly if I got to know them a lot, it revealed itself. What was that bit of extraordinariness that brought them here? And they all have it. And I see it in my son's friends now as well. Even some of the ones that are, they're quiet, they say nothing. You wouldn't think, oh my God. Get to know them a little bit, and it's like the skin on the onion gets peeled back, and it's quite amazing what it reveals. So you can rag on Princeton, Harvard, and Yale all you want, but don't think I'm not going to push back, because I will push back, because you're totally wrong.
I'm not for a second going to deny that there aren't brilliant people at these schools. I'm also even going to I'm willing to concede that they have a higher proportion of highly qualified students than most universities have. But remember, Harvard and Yale, I'm not going to pick on Princeton because I know that's your favorite. You love that school so much. Harvard and Yale also admitted George Bush Jr., who we know is not just a war criminal, but an idiot. So, here's the thing. Here's the thing. Here's the thing. No. Wait. You got to let me finish this. What? Oh, look. The fact
is, disrespectful, and you cannot call a president an idiot. You maybe didn't like him.
He wasn't a smart. Look at his transcripts. He clearly wasn't elite. Let's just say that he wasn't elite, and he wasn't the brightest bulb in the tree. And I always say that, as I wrote in my book, "What if George Bush were a black man? If he were a young black male born in a housing project, he'd be dead or in prison by now, based on the system in which we live." Now, with that being said, I will say that while we can certainly say that there are brilliant, elite, amazing people, elite in a good sense, amazing people at Ivy League schools, there are also brilliant, amazing people at other schools too. You can't tell me.
Step up, raise your hand, make yourself known. Make yourself known. Absolutely, I completely agree with you. I want you to go back and I want you to take it back. You don't call a past president a war criminal. If he was really a war criminal, he'd be in jail.
He lied and sent us to Iraq, costing us trillions of dollars and thousands of lives. In some countries around the world, George Bush cannot visit because he is considered a war criminal and would be prosecuted for telling the lie that led to thousands of people dying. And what's interesting too is that down in Atlanta, there are a group of school teachers who are going to prison for lying and cheating on a standardized test. So if you can go to prison for cheating on a standardized test, you should certainly go to prison for telling the lie that led to a war that cost trillions of dollars and thousands of lives. That's
I
simple math.
disagree.
That's simple
I,
logic.
dis- I
Simple logic.
disagree. I don't believe that he lied. I believe he spoke the truth as he know it. Was he
Hmm.
wrong? Maybe he was wrong. I get that. And there were consequences to him being wrong. Did he lie? No, I don't think he lied. I think he said what he believed. So, and whatever any other country does, that's their business. But here in the United States, if he was a war criminal, he'd be in jail. So, one, take that back. You
That's
don't
not
call.
true. In the United States will not prosecute a president who's a war criminal. The first thing Obama did when he got into office was he didn't go back and he didn't prosecute the people from the Bush administration. Once again, because they're all cronies, they're all in the same club. And then two, he did nothing to the Wall Street banksters that almost destroyed the entire economy. And again, finance is my field. I know the models these guys were using. I know the theories, and I know that a lot of the theories were wrong. And I know that when they applied them to the American economy, they almost sent us into a depression unlike anything we've ever seen.
Well,
So,
why didn't
it,
he
it,
prosecute them? Why didn't he? Why didn't he prosecute the finance
money,
guys who brought us to the brink of disaster? Why didn't he?
money. I told you, our government is bought out. America is two things. It's a capitalist democracy. Now, the capitalist part is overriding the democracy. Capitalism and democracy are siblings, but now democracy is the little sibling who's getting beat up by the big sibling who's kicking his ass and taking his lunch. That's what's happening in America right now. And citizens, decisions like Citizens United, they don't help the American people. I think that our
Yeah,
future is going to look worse than our past because we've got people that can clearly see problems. We clearly see serious issues that we have to address, but they're so busy fighting each other, so busy fighting for their special interests that they will let the whole ship sink because they're trying to get the better cabin on the ship or they're trying to get a better lifeboat for themselves. That's why our country is going to have a really tough time in the future. So the only chance we have of being successful or surviving as a nation is if some multi billionaire or group of billionaires come together, pulls together enough money to get someone into the White House, and they completely change the direction of the ship. That's the
no,
only thing that's going to save our country.
no. You're so wrong about so much of what you just said, boys. It's hard for me to know even where to begin to correct you. First of all, how could you even think that this nation is so fragile? You think the United States is a fragile nation?
We are a young country, Susan. We're not that old. The Roman Empire, that empire lasted far longer than ours.
But look what we've endured. And look how strong we are. You honestly think that you could take down this country? Forget about that. You're completely wrong. Not going to happen. We've lived through adversity. We'll live through more adversity. We'll
the
continue to
the
come out big
only
and
the
strong.
only people strong enough to take down America are Americans, or American leaders are the only leaders in the world powerful enough to take down a country this size. We are the giant. No one's going to knock down the giant, but if the giant walks into a tree or hits himself in the head, he's going to go down. That's the
No,
problem. That's the
it'll
problem.
never happen. It'll never happen. The United States is not a fragile country. We are strong like oxen. We are not a fragile people. We are not a fragile country. I don't know. I don't know how you have in your head that we're like a little schoolgirl. We're not a little schoolgirl, boys. Forget about it. Forget about it. And I want you also to go. Stop giggling. You stop giggling. And I want you to go back and apologize for calling a past president a war criminal. That's an ugly accusation. You don't say such a thing unless it's true. Secondly, I want you to apologize for calling him an idiot. You don't refer to a past president as an idiot, just like you don't refer to the current president by his first name. Whether you like him or you don't like him, you show respect for the office. So I'm waiting for those two apologies. Take it away.
The apologies are not coming. And I encourage people, including yourself, if you're not sure why Bush might be a war criminal, there's an article on Democracy Now! Titled "Should Bush, Cheney, Rumsfeld, and CIA Officials Be Tried for Torture? War Crimes Case Filed in Germany." So there are people around the world, human rights groups all over the globe, that
Because
agree entirely with what I said, and I stand by it. I'm not going to change a word.
because Germany has always led the world in human rights, leadership. Yeah. Yeah, they've
Well,
always been.
if anybody knows what a war criminal looks like, it would be the German government. Let's hope, right? So, that's my theory. They had some of the worst war criminals, but I'll tell you, with the way Africa, when people point out the horrible things that the Nazi government did, to the Jews and to its own people, a lot of people point the finger right back in America and say, "Look at what you've done to black people." So, I think that we're not that far off from what was happening in World War II. But anyway, I'll let you get the last word so that you can feel like you've won. Even though I just crushed you today. I crushed you today.
You so didn't. You so didn't. I'll be eager to hear some of the comments, and I love that many of the comments that we have on YouTube and even on Twitter people are saying they love our banter. They're saying, "Take it. You two should take it on the road." I love that. I think that's fun. And I think we should. I think we
Yes.
should.
I,
The thing that's staying with me is I want you to be more respectful in the way you talk about presidents, both past and present. As much as I really do not like President Obama or anything about what he's done, and I really don't like the wife at all, you've never heard me say Obama's stupid, he's an idiot, he's evil. I've never said that. And I wouldn't
because
say that.
he's not.
Well,
He's smart. He's a smart guy. You can't take that away from him. You can disagree with him, but you can't say he's not smarter than Bush.
well, you certainly cannot say with any truthfulness that George Bush, Senior, Junior, any of the Bushes are war criminals. If they were, they'd be in jail. And all right, we've gone back and forth on that. We're not going to agree. But to call him stupid, I hardly think that's appropriate. Even if, firstly, I don't think he is stupid, number one. Two, even if he were, for you to refer to a past president as stupid reflects worse on you than it does on him. So now, speaking as like your mother, who I have a feeling would side with me, she would slap the black off you for making a stupid comment like
Oh,
that.
you can't say that, Susan. You're white. You're not supposed to say that. You can't say that,
All
Susan.
right,
You
sorry,
can't.
I take it
You
back.
can't.
I take it back. I take it back. I
There you
said
go.
she, not I would.
She would. Okay.
She would, not me. Oh, God,
Yeah, you know they're gonna eat you. Anybody who watches the video at this point, they're gonna eat you up for saying that, right?
why? Why?
You know,
Why?
because
Anyone who watches these videos, if they don't know how much I love you, if they don't understand that I see you as like my less smart black brother, that I have to sometimes just grab by the shoulders to make you see the truth of things. No, there's nothing about that that's offensive to anybody except those who are looking for the microaggression to get all. Are you upset that I said that? Do you take offense to that?
do I take offense to it? I would take offense because I know other people would take offense, but me
Uh,
because I know you and I know what you meant to say, I don't take offense to it. But
okay.
if you were a random person on the street who said that to me, it would be a different conversation. And that's why I think part of the solution to the race issue is getting to know people as human beings rather than statistics, because I
Great.
think that makes a huge difference. So,
Okay.
but
Well,
so I
I'll
so
take it back.
so well, thank you. But I'm not taking back what I said about Bush. But I love you though. I love you.
You too. I love you too, but you do not speak about a president, past or present, by saying he's an idiot. You don't refer to them by their first name ever. It's rude, it's disrespectful, and it reflects badly on you. So take it back. Take it back. You can't call him an idiot.
Yeah,
It's wrong.
yeah. Okay. Well, you know what? I'm not taking it back. So that's it. There you go. So you can chew on that today. All right. Well, thank you so much, Susan. It was great talking to you again, as
Always
always.
great talking to you, boys.
Yes, and everybody, this is Susan Patton, aka the Princeton Mom. She has a great book called Mary Smart. I think you should go check it out. She says what's on her mind, and honesty is the most you can ask for people. And I think that a lot of what she says does make sense, even when she's wrong. Which, when we're talking, it's about 90% of the time. She knows that. And I'm Dr. Boyce Watkins. And by the way, we have a new film coming out called Resurrecting Black Wall Street, about the Black Wall Street atrocity in 1921. I hope you'll go check out this film. You can find out more and watch the trailer at resurrectingblackwallstreet.com. That's resurrectingblackwallstreet.com. And until we meet again, please stay strong, be blessed, and be educated. We are gone. Peace.